Playoffs are here. We have the final bracket set. A whole lot of jibber jabber from everyone else. Notre Dame, you deserve it. You did this to yourself. Join a conference. Man up. Anyway, we have our bracket here. I'm going to make the picks for round one, and then I'll make the picks for round two, and then hypothetical round three, because we don't even know who's going to be in round three, and then who I think will be in the championship and will win the championship. So we're going to start at the top, Oregon and JMU. I don't even need to say anything. Oregon's going to win. I don't want to hear it any given Saturday. Not in these two teams, okay? JMU has no business being there. There were other great teams that should be there. That's it. That's all I got to say about that one. Alabama, Oklahoma, a rematch from the regular season. Oklahoma won. It was a great game. Oklahoma's defense is absolutely stellar this year. But guess what? I don't believe in Oklahoma. I just don't. Alabama's been 2-2 over their last four. They got blown out by Georgia, who's a fantastic team, will be competing for a national championship. I don't think either one of these teams can make a run. I don't think either one of these teams are real contenders. But I'm going to say Alabama over Oklahoma. Now, my whole reasoning behind that, Oklahoma they're so one-sided, so one-sided. John Mateer, he was lighting up early in the season. He hurt his hand. Maybe he can get it together. Maybe not. We'll see. That's just college football. That's the playoffs. They're going to be playing hard as they possibly can. But Oklahoma has shown that they will get outscored. Absolutely, they will get outscored. Any elite offense that they face, they will not be able to keep up with the points. Alabama, they can be one of those elite offenses. They're kind of off and on. You know, you shut down their passing game. You put pressure on Ty Simpson. That's what Georgia showed. He folds. I mean, that's college football quarterbacks. You can't expect much. They're not NFL guys. These guys aren't completely ready, and this is what happens. So if Oklahoma can get that pass rush, they can have a repeat of the last matchup in the regular season, and Oklahoma can win it. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Alabama's going to really have some grit, something to prove. They lost to this team already. They got blown out by Georgia. This is their next game after that. They're going to be fighting to prove that they deserve not to get dropped out of the playoff after getting destroyed. And I think that they will. I think that they're going to beat Oklahoma and they're going to advance to the next round. Then we got Tulane, Ole Miss. Last matchup, Tulane lost by 100. Okay? I'm not picking this game anyway other than Ole Miss. Ole Miss will win. Okay? Not even a conversation. And then we got Miami and Texas A&M. Miami and Texas A&M. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay? Two fraud teams. I'm just going to put it out there right now. Okay? Texas A&M 11-1. It's a fake 11-1. Okay? It really is. They played as a cupcake schedule as you can have in the SEC. They didn't face any of the top teams, any of the elite of the SEC. And then you got Miami, who will just drop a game randomly. I mean, they will. They'll come at their best and beat Notre Dame, and then they will just drop a game to Louisville and SMU. Okay? Nothing much you can do about that. That's college football. You're not going to see that real consistency that you build with professionalism and everything else. And so this is a really tough game to pick. Really tough game to pick. I got both teams who I think are frauds. One team who drop any game, Texas A&M, who hasn't really been tested, and they lost to Texas. So I'm gonna go with Texas A&M on this one. Now this is one that I do not feel confident with at all. Just like I said, both of these teams could go either way. Texas A&M can completely fall apart. Miami could completely fall apart. This could go either way. They're not winning the next week because you know who they're facing next week? Ohio State. Okay. Now obviously that makes it easy for what my next pick is. That would mean A&M and Ohio State in the same game. Ohio State is winning that 100% of the time. Ohio State is dominant. I think that they're going to be in that championship game. They got Georgia, who's going to be a tough test, but Ohio State has just been so dominant. Their defense is just so stellar, and Julian Sayin can definitely get it done. So we are going to see. And then in the next one, it'd be Georgia and Ole Miss. I would have loved to see this if Ole Miss let Kiffin stay, if there wasn't all this chaos going on with Ole Miss right now. But I mean, I'm going to take Georgia. I think that's kind of an easier one to pick, unfortunately, for Ole Miss. We'll see how they show out in Tulane. If they can put the whipping on Tulane like they did in the regular season, and they can prove that they have that cohesion, that all this outside noise isn't really affecting them, then I can definitely see that game being really competitive. I mean, it was last time that they played. And then that brings us to Alabama and Indiana. It's not going to be good. Indiana has a great defense. Ty Simpson, we already know, folds under pressure. Indiana is going to win that game. I feel completely confident with that. I'm an SEC guy. Big Ten, SEC, there's a beef, there's a rivalry, whatever. Indiana is a fantastic team. They deserve all the respect that they get, and I take Indiana every day in that matchup. And then it's going to be Texas Tech and Oregon. Crazy matchup. This is a great matchup. I mean, I think Oregon is the best of those outside of the top four conversation. I think that they could go on a run. I don't necessarily think that they could win it all, but I think they absolutely could go on a run. And then Texas Tech, who's just been so dominant, so great on offense. They have a really good defense too. And I'm going to go with Texas Tech to win this game. They're going to have a whole extra week of rest. Even though they did play in the championship and Oregon didn't, they're going to have a whole entire week of rest. Even though JMU is Group of 5, Oregon still has to at least study a little bit on JMU. Meanwhile, Texas Tech will be studying everything that they possibly can about Oregon. They really want to show out on this great season that they have and finish on a high note. So I'm going to go with Texas Tech on that one. Texas Tech to beat Oregon and advance to the next round. And then that leaves us with Texas Tech and Indiana. Okay? I already said it. Indiana's a fantastic team. Texas Tech is also a fantastic team. But Indiana, most likely they have their Heisman winner quarterback, Mendoza. He's been great. He really has. Not who I would pick for Heisman, but he has been great. He definitely deserves to be in those names, invited to New York and everything else. But I'm going to take Indiana over Texas Tech. That's a tough one. Texas Tech hasn't played any really great opponents. It's kind of hard to gauge just how good they are. They've absolutely stomped everyone that they played. So I mean, they've shown that they're a great team, but what do we see when they face real adversity? What do we see when they face a top team? I mean, they did collapse with Arizona State, even without their quarterback. You know, I would expect a team of that caliber to still be able to pull out without their quarterback, and they could not. So for that reason, I'm going to take Indiana to beat Texas Tech, and then that means that it would be Indiana advancing to the championship round, to the national championship. And then Georgia-Ohio State, another great game. Great game. And, you know, Georgia absolutely put the whipping on Alabama. They showed that they're the Georgia of old, the same old Georgia that they've been since they've had Kirby Smart. They are a fantastic team, like they as always, and they will be. And I think it's going to be a great game. If anybody remembers that New Year's game with the Georgia-Ohio State, and that shit was fantastic. Amazing game. I know I didn't. I completely skipped on my New Year's Kiss to see that field goal, and I had to. Great game. I loved the ending of that one, and I think this can be another all-time classic. This can be another great game. But Ohio State, I just got to give the edge to them. I like Julian Sayin over Gunnar Stockton, and then I also just that Ohio State defense. Nothing is better than that Ohio State defense. So suffocating. Cannot score on them. This will probably end up being one of those mid-teen scores, kind of like the Indiana-Ohio State score was. Maybe a little bit more because Indiana does have a better defense than Georgia. But I'm going to take Ohio State to win this game. Absolute thriller. Fantastic game to watch. It's going to be amazing football to see. And that means that it would be an Ohio State-Indiana rematch for the Big Ten championship in the national championship. I think that these two teams are clearly the two best teams. Shout out to Indiana. Historically, not a great franchise or not a great program. Curt Cignetti, fantastic coach. Totally thought he was going to leave for a bigger school, and he didn't. Shout out to him for staying. That's real loyalty right there. And so, national championship rematch, Indiana, Ohio State. Indiana beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. It was exactly what I expected from the game. It was a defensive slugfest. It was who can get that pivotal turnover, who can get that field position, who can get that big play, that one big play, and it was just Indiana that came up with it. Now, Ohio State had a chance to tie that game, to go to overtime, but there's no guarantee that Mendoza wasn't just going to go right down the field and get a field goal or a touchdown to ice the game right there. Okay, Indiana was the better team in that game. They deserved that win. They deserved to be number one, and it's going to be a great rematch, but I'm going to take Ohio State to beat Indiana in the national championship. Now you're saying why? They already lost. They just lost, and they were playing as hard as they could. No, they were not. Okay? Ohio State, they just had Michigan. Emotions are crazy. That's the game. They haven't beat Michigan in forever. They don't have a single player on that roster who had beat Michigan prior to that. okay? A lot of their season is preparing for the game to beat Michigan, okay? Now, they're going to have time to rest. They're going to play these other schools. They're going to get more motivated, more engaged into beating this Indiana team for the national championship title. And that means that Ohio State will be my repeating champions, national championship, back-to-back in the new playoff era. Very, very respectable. So many games you got to play. Anything can happen. It's just grit. It's toughness. It's staying healthy. And Ryan Day, his job was on the line last year. Crazy to even say that. And then now he's going to be a 2-time repeating national championship. And that is my picks right there. I have first round, pretty obvious. The only upset is Alabama. Second round, great games. Ohio State, Georgia especially. Jesus. And then finally we get to Indiana, Ohio State, and Ohio State will get their revenge for the Big Ten championship and win. And that's it. So once again, thank you guys. If you stayed this long, really appreciate a like and a subscribe. If you don't agree with me, if you do agree with me, I don't care either way. Drop your opinion in the comments. I will answer you. I will get into a full-on rant argument with you about college football, okay? I love it. I love talking about it. I love doing everything about it, okay? So, thank you guys again. I appreciate you.